to it. Let's take a look at some of those tweets. You have been tweeting us and letting us know what's on your mind as we continue to look at those numbers. Very important, just to remind you, of course, where the numbers are indeed sitting at this time. The ANC at 46.42%, Democratic Alliance at 22.25%, Economic Freedom Fighters at 10.09%, Inkatha Freedom Party coming in there 4.50% at this time, and the Freedom Front Plus is at this point at 2.72%. So just giving you really an indication of the top five at this time. That's what those numbers nationally are looking like in a percentage form. But as I've earlier indicated, of course, at this time, it's only 58% of the votes are being counted. We're waiting and kind of hoping to see that number go up. We had some indication from the IEC that we might be sitting at the 90s in terms of percentage of the votes that have been counted around this time. But it doesn't look like we're getting there at this point. So I will assume that there'll be more movement later on. All right, let's take a look then at some of those tweets and what our followers have been telling us then here on Twitter and responding to our question indeed of how they're feeling and indeed how they feel about the elections and some of their predictions. And let's hear what some of you have to say then. Colin saying the Economic Freedom Fighters watch the Red Berets sneak in and spoil the party of many in the dying minutes. And of course, a lot of people talking about, look, we still have to watch out for those big metros that will really be an indicator of where everyone really stands. It's still, I suppose one can say, it's still early days. We still have about 42% of the votes that still need to be counted at this point. So I wonder if it can still go either way, but let's look. Let's see what's going to happen. It certainly looks as though things have remained pretty much the same in most places, but there are some significant changes that we are noticing and some big surprises as well. Carrying on looking at those tweets, let's take a look at some more of them. Here's one saying from Sonwabile, it's quite obvious that the ANC will emerge victorious nationally as always. However, in the metros, we might see 2016 repeating itself, especially in Gauteng. No outright win by any of the parties. And of course, that's those metros that I have been talking about. And we're certainly looking to see very closely what's happening in those metros. And no doubt there'll be more analysis on that. And we'll rely on Bongiwe to discuss those issues. Those metros that we're certainly looking at this time, the city of Cape Town, city of Joburg, the city of Tshwane, the city of Ekurhuleni, and in the Free State, of course, Mangaung, in KZN, eThekwini, as well as in the Eastern Cape, the Nelson Mandela Bay and Buffalo City. We're really eagerly seeing how that's all going to play out. Let's continue taking a look at your tweets then. Here's one saying that they switch off the electricity, then steal the ballot papers. The rest is history. Didn't mention anyone, but I guess your guess is as good as mine as to who that tweet is referring to. Let's not to mention any names, but obviously these are some people's personal experiences. Taking a look at some more of those tweets just before we wrap up and continue with our analysis. Here's one from Sipati saying, will Sicelo be a priority for development this time? Sometimes I fail to understand why Midvaal neglects that area. People are crowded in toilet-sized shacks, container schools, no roads and no water at all. One of the worst areas I've ever seen, and I've been to Alex. So those are some of the tweets that we're getting then this morning, and certainly an important one when it comes to the issue of service delivery. And isn't that why we're all here gathered voting and hoping that, of course, we get the service delivery that we're hoping to get out of those we've elected into power. And the issue of service delivery is very high up. I mean, we've been crisscrossing the streets of South Africa really and getting people to explain to us what do they want, what they're voting for, what they require. And let me tell you that service delivery, no doubt, is the number one thing that people are talking about the most. All right, I'm going to take it back to Bongiwe and we continue with our analysis then of all that's happening as we continue to watch those numbers as they come in.